Hey, it's Lexi Lou coming to you with another video. Got your intro?
It's Lexi Lou and her fiance. Nice to see you guys again, but
Anyway, so today Bill is getting his new car. It's been a month's process getting this car. We were using a car vending machine, which you see commercials about all the time. He actually utilized it. There are definitely pros and cons. My perspective would be more cons than pros, because even though you will be in a dealership like for a whole day getting a car, at least it doesn't take a month, because with the pandemic going on, this car vending service, of course, everyone is working remotely. The communication was just so bad. It just really prolonged this entire process. And did I say the first car that he picked out, ended up not being able to get it because they didn't do the inspection until after he did all of the paperwork. So literally, was it a week when the car was supposed to be delivered? They called him and told him that he has to pick out a new vehicle. And not only pick out a new vehicle, but then go through the entire process all over again. So that was a bit frustrating. I think at that point, we were just already in too deep to walk away. We definitely consider walking away. I think that this particular company is very, very new. And so maybe it's just all one big learning curve for them. Okay, that's not new then. That's almost 10 years old. But we are going to continue our wedding series. I asked y'all on Facebook, what would you like to see from L'Oreal and I next? And so I am trying to go to my actual Facebook post right now. Here we go. So Kanisha Lewis commented under my post and said, I want to hear about what you think about spiritual backgrounds, what you think about having marital counseling before marriage, especially being a young couple. Let that out.
But just paying attention to the details within that question, I'm thinking about it. She said, in young couples, commitment has no age attached to it. You can get so caught up in being too young and too old to actually commit. Age does not mean you've gained wisdom. Experience, and also the application from the experience, doing the right thing after the experience, means you gain wisdom from it. Personally, I'm 25. If it's your time and you're open to commitment, do it. Everyone has their own experience within relationships. It's more so about listening to the people that have what you want. I wouldn't go to a friend or brother or a cousin, because it can be family too, who's not in a committed relationship, who talks to multiple women, who talks to multiple guys. People are actually scared to take the next step because they're listening to the wrong people. That's having wisdom, understanding that their results that they have, I don't want it. There's nothing wrong with being committed to another person. Not get caught up with being too young or too old. There's no right time. The only time that you have is literally right now.
I think, yeah, I agree with you right there. That's why I always say, you and I, we were talking on the phone for literally like 1 week before we decided to be in a relationship, which to some people could be very, very fast. But I said we were at that level of maturity that we wanted to be in a relationship. Not that, we were at an age where we have to be in a relationship or anything like that. I think it just comes with your mindset and your maturity.
Yeah.
And that doesn't come with age. Like wisdom doesn't come with age. Maturity doesn't.
Yeah, true. And also, I mean, one knock at the door, we almost at 30. So I don't understand how young you have to be.
Yeah, almost at 30.
I was at
I'm
30,
at 27, which is just 27, which is closer to 25.
I feel like more people should just figure out what they want at the end of the day.
I think that's more so of what it is as well. People just not knowing what they want or willing to commit to it. And maybe the thought of commitment is scary for some people. You know?
But the thought of uncertainty as well. I mean,
yeah. It's really about your perspective on it. And y'all see that car down there?
all the way down there.
So L'Oreal stay on a dead end. And they can't bring the...
It's a cove. It is a cove.
So they couldn't get the truck down here. How you feel, L'Oreal?
I'm going to feel better once I actually get the car. I'm not going to feel nothing until I receive the car.
So we'll check in as they roll the car up. But just know we're missing part of the experience because they had to unload the car before they get to the driveway, because they can't... He wouldn't be able to turn around and get back out. Hello. Is this what we got? Baby just pulled up in the driveway. So she wants to hear about our spiritual backgrounds and what do you think about having premarital counseling.
Okay.
So we are both Christians, and that is very important to me for sure. Funny story, I'm not gonna make this funny, is that when Laurel and I, before we got in a relationship and we would be on the phone with each other, I could hear him, like if he was out and about at Walmart and all of this stuff, I could hear him speaking to people and he would be like, you know, how's it going, brother? Or, you know, what's up, brother? And I'm just gonna be honest, I've only heard mostly Muslim men say that word brother so much, and I was like, oh my God, like I like this guy. I've already started liking him, and I think he's Muslim. And he was very specific about not eating pork. And so I was like, what am I going to do? Because, you know, everybody's relationship is different. But for me, I wanted someone to come with that same like-mindedness. Not me trying to win you over to the Christianity journey or anything. I was like, I don't want that to be us. I don't want that to be my journey. We just went on and got it cleared up. I just had to ask almost. I think I did ask you.
I think you did.
Yeah, and he's just, but once you get to know Laurel, that's just the type of person he is. He literally calls everyone brother, black or white, black, white, Asian, whatever. He calls everybody in between. He calls, if you're a guy, he calls you brother. And it's, now that I know him, I'm like, whoo, because in the beginning, I was like, oh my God. And the pork thing is just a personal preference for him. He's just not big on red meat, period. So that's all that is. So we are both Christians, and before COVID, we went to church every Sunday. And I mean, now that we are starting, everything has started back opening up, we still do go to church every Sunday now. So I hope that's enough.
And also, I would like to put my input.
Pushed me back a little bit.
I had to, because you would not let me. Also, my input on just the spiritual aspect of it, whether anyone want to give acknowledgement to it or not, whether you believe in God, Buddha, tree, regardless, you have to believe in something. A man who doesn't stand for something will fall for anything. You're human. In your flesh, it will get weak. You being a mother, you being a father, you being a boyfriend, you being a girlfriend, you're going to need some type of foundation, something to hold you up in the times of your weakness. At the end of the day, as long as you know who your source is and who you're doing it for, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You're living for yourself. You're living for God. And me personally, I'm a very spiritual person. Raise a child the way he's supposed to, and one day he would not grow from it. It's something similar to that, meaning just raise a child in the right way it's supposed to be. You may not be spiritually developed right now, but hopefully you was around the campfire long enough or around spiritual people long enough, reading the Bible. You may not have listened to it, but I promise you, the older you get, those sayings, those stories, those readings, you're going to see those stories come to pass in your life. A wise person would much rather read about someone else's mistakes than actually go through it themselves. Sometimes you may have to touch that hot stove to understand because you're a child. But honestly, every mistake when it comes to adultery, when it comes to drinking alcohol, whatever question that you need to have, you can read it in the Bible. It gives you every scenario.
Because there's nothing new under the sun.
There's literally none.
We find different ways to do the nothing new, the old stuff. You may find, but like they always say, it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. As long as you and your spouse understand what is your foundation, nothing can honestly break you.
So, I think we're ready to are you ready to move on to the second part of that?
About marriage counseling?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
About marriage counseling, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, and if I do not know something, I'm willing to say it. I never heard of premarital counseling until I actually got with my fiance, until now, but at the end of the day, this is a relationship I'm willing to compromise.
That's something that I was very big on. Before we ever got engaged, we knew we wanted to be with each other, and I always told him, once we get engaged, we're gonna have to do premarital counseling. It's kind of seeking wisdom. Even though we may not be in a storm right now, life is not gonna always be rainbow and sunshine. So we need to go ahead and take on that wise counseling for when those hard times come. So that's why I'm a big advocate on it. If you are a PK, a preacher's kid, a pastor's kid, please comment down below, because I want to know exactly, like, if your dad is your pastor, like my dad is my pastor, did you go to your dad for premarital counseling? Is there like a conflict of interest? You know, I was just I'm curious about that. That's the only thing that I think that's kind of in the back of my head. Like, do we go to my dad for this? Because, you know, he's my pastor. But I will say, first and foremost, he's my dad. And so it's kind of just like, yeah, I don't know, Dad. You know, I think I want to keep you in that dad role. But yes, we are pro premarital counseling. I am pro premarital counseling. And thankfully, I have an understanding spouse, soon-to-be spouse, that understands that is something that I would like for us to undergo.
Yeah, so having a big spiritual background together, I feel like that's going to be the longevity within a relationship. And all you're getting, get wisdom. If it costs you everything that you have, get understanding. You may not have the wisdom of it right now, knowing how to apply to your life, or you may not have the understanding. It depends on where you are in this journey. We all in this journey called life together. That's your foundation. Just a suggestion. I'm not trying to make you do anything. I would just advise it myself.
Right. So, I'm just going to keep it real. There's just so much that can have influence on you, whether you acknowledge it or not. Things that look like they're tolerable that shouldn't be tolerable. Things that, you know, we accept that we shouldn't accept. Running, i.e. divorce. I think that is why it is so important that we have those spiritual backgrounds. But thank y'all so much for watching. And we'll see you in the next one.